This video is about slope and how you find slope from two ordered pairs. So first you need to know that we often use M to stand for slope. So if you see that in slope-intercept form or something, that just means slope. You're going to need to know the formula for slope. That is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I need you to realize that these 2's and 1's are not exponents, they are subscripts. They're lowercase. They're written like lower than the letter itself. And so what that is telling us is that it's telling us where those values come from. So what you're going to have is you're going to have two ordered pairs. The first ordered pair is going to give you your x1 and y1 values. Your second ordered pair is where the x2 and y2 values come from. So the 1 is just saying it comes from the first ordered pair, and the 2 is just saying it comes from the second ordered pair. So if I had two ordered pairs, let's say we have 3, 4 and 5, 8, and I want to find the slope between of the line that would go through those 2 points. So what we have is we have in this first ordered pair, that would be the x1 and the y1. And feel free when you're doing these, when you do any of these problems, whether it's these or outside of this video, to label them if you feel like you need to. And the second ordered pair is giving us our x2 and our y2. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our equation following this formula that I gave you above. So it says y2 minus y1. So y2 is 8 minus the y1, which is 4, divided by x2 minus x1. x2 is 5 minus x1, which is 3. So now we have 8 minus 4 divided by 5 minus 3. So then to simplify this, we're going to go ahead and do the subtraction in the numerator and in the denominator. So 8 minus 4 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. And we always want to simplify if we can. So I'm going to look at my numerator and denominator and divide them both by any common factor they might have. So like I could divide both of these by 2, and that would make this 2 over 1, or we could just call that 2. So that would be the slope of the line that goes through those two ordered pairs. So let's look at, so let's say my ordered pairs are -1, 7, and 6, 5. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. So if I set them up like we did before, the y2 minus y1, that will be 5 minus 7. x2 minus x1, that's 6 minus -1. Now be careful with the negatives. That's the place we usually make mistakes if we're going to make a mistake. So 5 minus 7 is -2. 6 minus -1 is going to be 7. That minus a negative is going to be like adding that 1. And if I look at this, there's no number I can divide them both by, so my slope is -2/7. Okay, let's do one more example, and then that should be really all the review that you might need on this. Okay, so here's my last example. So 4, -3, and -2, 1. And again, I'm labeling those just to help you understand where I'm setting up my problem from. So y2 minus y1 will be 1 minus -3. x2 minus x1 is -2 minus 4. 1 minus -3 is going to be 4. And -2 minus 4 is -6. I can divide both of those by 2. And so that would be 2, and that would be -3. Now, just to make sure we don't get confused, there is only one negative in this fraction, and it doesn't really matter where that negative is located. These are all the same answers. So if I were to also write this as -2 divided by 3, or as a negative in front of it and then 2/3, that is still the same slope. It's a negative and it's 2/3. Okay. All right, so I'm not really going to give you another, say that we worked out our problem, and when we went to simplify, we had 0 divided by 4, or 0 divided by any number. If you had a calculator and you typed that in, you would get 0. 0 divided by any number is 0. And a 0 slope would be a line like this that is horizontal. Okay? Now, If I have 0 that ends up in the denominator instead, like I might get negative 7 divided by 0, if I try to type that in my calculator, it is going to tell me that that is a non-real answer or undefined or something like that. So whenever we have 0 in the denominator, we call that an undefined slope. We don't say no slope, we say it's undefined. And that would be a line that goes straight up and down, which would be a vertical line. Okay, so there's your quick overview of slope and how to find it from two ordered pairs.